It used to be that someone would email me or have a phone call with me. I didn't have a structure for the calls at all. They hold all the keys, and then I'm like hoping that they're going to pick me.
That's right.
Instead of the way that I've learned to run them from you is to, first of all, take the lead from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then also to just know that like I'm interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me. When you're holding that back, there's this feeling of like, I'm going to charge you this much. You're worried what they're going to say. You're afraid they're going to reject you.
Yep.
You don't have, at that time, I can say I didn't have confidence in the price.
So what was the other lesson that you just mentioned now? Let's talk about pricing.
Oh my gosh, so much that I learned. When we talk about this, I always think we remember at the very beginning, again, when you were like, let's put your packages together. And I can't even, I'm embarrassed to even think about what I charged before I met you. And then even after one phone call with you, remember the next person came through, I charged her $100 more.
And you were so proud of yourself. She wrote me an email, Michelle, I did what you said, and I charged her $100 more. I mean, that was something though, it was something.
And it was a start. And the woman paid it with no problem, which was a giant aha. Like, whenever people say yes too easily, you're like, damn,
I should have charged more.
There's room to grow.
Yeah.
And so you helped me put packages together for the first time, because before I was only offering one.
Yeah.
And I remember you said, if the top coach, came to you and said they want everything possible, what's the biggest package? And I was like, no one's ever going to buy that package, but okay, like we'll create it just
to make you happy, coach.
Right, whatever. And so I put that package together thinking that people would buy the middle one. Right?
We were trying to do a high, medium, low. And so she was trying to go for the sweet spot in the middle, but I had her put together the high one. And I was like, just in case, and just to, if nothing else, just to make the middle one look better, right?
And then 12 people bought the high one. I was leaving so much money on the table. Everybody bought that high one. And everybody still buys the high one.
And of course, right away, I'm like, put a new high one together. Raise the price.
I've raised the price so many times. And my calendar is still full.
Yeah.
Even to this day, still full for a year. So
wow.
Yeah.
That means you should raise your prices.
I
did. By the way, momentary lesson. Let's just take this opportunity. I'll share that when I see someone who's at capacity or full or has a waiting list for a year, that's a cue to me. You either need to have more volume or higher prices. Those are the two levers you can pull with that scenario. So just,
especially in a business like that service that I'm offering,
right,
where I limit the service.
Right.
Because I don't want to do more capacity.
Right. So she doesn't want to increase capacity. She likes her pace of work. So the only way to go is either, in that case, raise the price if she wants to maintain her same production team. Or she could, if you don't want to raise volume, you don't want to increase the production, you've got to raise the price. Or just keep it the same, but have a wait list and let people know, I'm sorry, you can book next September if you want. So you started doing telesummits, you narrowed your focus, you narrowed your audience.
Yes.
You elevated your audience by raising your prices.
For sure.
Are there any other transformations you can think of that were really seminal along the way?
Yeah, there's so many, probably. But one big one was how I ran, even talking to clients, that whole process for someone hiring me. It used to be that someone would email me or have a phone call with me. I didn't have a structure for the calls at all. So a lot of times they would run with the calls. They'd tell me everything they needed. They'd ask me a million questions.
And you were like an order taker, kind of.
Exactly.
They were in charge.
They were totally in charge. Totally in charge. And there was that feeling when you run a call like that, when you don't run a call like that, there's that feeling of like they hold all the keys, and then I'm like hoping that they're going to pick me.
That's right.
Instead of the way that I've learned to run them from you is to, first of all, take the lead from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then also to just know that like I'm interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me.
That's
so
right.
They're trying to figure out if they want to hire me. I'm trying to figure out if I want to work with them.
Especially if you've got a full calendar.
Right.
And you've got a waiting list. Well, now, maybe that wasn't back in the beginning, but even so.
Well, because, we've all hired the wrong person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you feel that pain.
Yeah.
In this case, for some, it's for months.
Yeah.
6 months, sometimes 8 months if something stretches out. And so
Yeah.
that's a long time to not be aligned with the person that you're working with.
Got it. Okay, so how did you make the change? What did you change in that sales process?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just learned the structure of how to do the calls from you.
Aside, I have many videos on the structure of how to do the call. So if you want that, we'll link to it below, and you can check out. I think I have a whole playlist on how to do sales and the sales structure. So
watch all of those videos right now. Well, after you watch this one.
After this one.
So I learned how to do that structure, which allowed me to just kind of take my power back with it and feel much more secure and strong in the process. And then the other huge thing, which I also learned from this process, is they would talk to me and then I'd send them this proposal.
Oh, the proposal.
I wouldn't even tell them the price sometimes.
Why did you do that?
Oh,
everybody does that, so it's okay. But why did you do that?
Because I was nervous. Because I felt like when you're holding that back, there's this feeling of like, I'm going to charge you this much. You're worried what they're going to say. You're afraid they're going to reject you.
Yep.
You don't have, at that time, I can say I didn't have confidence in the price. I didn't have confidence in what I was delivering.
Right.
I knew it was good.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a way that I think that because I had that experience too. I used to write these proposals. It was a way of delaying the conversation about money.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, because then, I'll put everything together and then I'll send you a proposal. And then it kind of takes the heat off that conversation. But then you're in this...
I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to, right? Yeah.
Right, I didn't have to put myself out there so they could potentially reject me.
Yeah, or say, oh, that's crazy.
Right.
So much money, you know?
But then the terrible part is then it leads to this horrible cat and mouse of like, here's the proposal. Did you read the proposal? Did you like the proposal? Do you have any questions on the proposal? What do you think about the proposal? And then, half the time people just would never respond again.
No, yeah.
Or they would, and then it's like this awkward, like, no. And then you don't know why. You don't, or...
No, we're not going to do it right now. Or they'll lie.
Right.
To try to make you feel better. And so you don't get the truth. You don't know what was wrong with the proposal or what they didn't like.
Or what they're thinking about, what they're worried about. Like, that's what I love about your process is it helps you tune into what's really on their mind, what's really going on in that head. So then you can address it and say, yes, I am the person to help you. Or
no, maybe
if
not.
you're looking for that, or if this is what you're worried about, then this isn't the right thing for you.
So back to another big breakthrough I know I had, and you're talking about it really, is not being attached to the outcome of the sales call, right?
Sure.
Like when we show up to the call in that mode of like, I need this sale, or, they have all the cards, or they're in charge, and we're in this kind of weaker position, lower position, and then we're like, but I need this sale, or I need the money. It puts us, it energetically and in all the ways, it really impedes being a leader.
For sure.
And you need to be a leader to make an enrollment, especially in our industry where we're coaching and mentoring. My mentor, one of them, Ben Skemper, says, how you sell is how you serve. So if you have trouble being in leadership in the sales process, it's going to be super challenging to be in leadership once they're a client anyways. So you really want to practice the skill and understand that selling is part of your service, actually. And that when we do sales as service, which I have a video about that, when we do sales as service, we understand that part of the service we're providing is either enrolling the right person or not enrolling the wrong person. Either way is fine. And having that equanimity, like not being attached to like the yes, it has to be a sale. Instead to be attached, if anything, to yes, I want to serve this person in the highest and best way, whichever that is, whether that's enrolling them and then really standing in your power to enroll them, or not enrolling them and releasing them, right?
And it's interesting because some of my most powerful conversations I have once I learned this process through you is even when I said no to people.
Yeah.
And I remember one woman came to me and we had this great conversation. I liked her and the topic that she wanted to do the summit on was completely not aligned with who I heard her to be. And in the conversation, I said, I hear you. And when you talk about this other topic, you're so much more lit up. You're so excited about it. Like, I had to talk you down from that topic to talk about your summit. Like, why aren't you doing a summit on that topic?
Yes.
And it was because at that time, she was like, she didn't have the confidence to put herself out there that way. And I was like, listen, I can't take you on as a client because it's just, I can tell it's not in alignment, and and I want you to consider this other topic. She came back to me a year later, and she goes, "You were so right. She switched her entire business
I love it.
from a sales call.
Wow.
From a sales call.
That is sales as service right there. That's what I mean by that. Thank you, Leeann. That was great. I appreciate your sharing your story with us.
Oh, my pleasure. So much fun.
And if you are interested in learning more about sales and the way that Leeann was talking about it and my system and structure that I've developed, I have a bunch of videos on sales. So we've gone ahead and pulled all those videos into a playlist, and we're sharing it with you below. Enjoy.
So for me, alignment means that all the things are like playing in the way they should. It's kind of like you can think of it like a puzzle piece. And the puzzle pieces click and they fit together well. And if you think about like the edges of the puzzle piece, right, when they have that straight line, if you're doing like a square, like things just like line up really well.
Yeah.
Versus we've all had those moments where we're doing something we probably don't really want to do, or because we think we should do it, or because our spouse, husband, parents, fill in the blank, think we should be doing that, and that feels just a little like not good.
Yeah.